I wonder if anyone's ever died on Wipeout, but they just destroyed the footage. I think there's enough evidence supporting that claim because they switch host so often that it only makes sense that the motive behind that is to eliminate witnesses. Because you're not going to get a new host because you want, more personality. The reason they got picked to be the host of Wipeout is because they don't have a personality. Being associated with Wipeout in any way, I feel like voids you of any personality. And I speak to this from a viewer's perspective too. I enjoyed watching Wipeout growing up a lot. Like, it was just raw fun. Guys, when they don't want to use protection, come on, babe, it's just raw fun. Okay, sorry. Um, I've noticed also, I never like purposely try to be funny on these podcasts. I notice actually most of the time they take this weirdly serious route. So I think I'm gonna like try to purposely try to be more funny. Because most of the time I feel like maybe I'm just being too serious, but I think it's because I don't have a person I'm talking to, and so it's hard to get a read on like what do you find funny, because that's the thing. I don't have like I do have this one sense of humor, but I think it morphs depending on who I'm talking. Actually, I know it does. It changes depending on who I'm talking to. I go after certain things more or less depending on who I'm talking to in person, because there's that real time feedback. Oh, they laughed at that. Ooh, they didn't laugh at that. Then you adjust. With a podcast, you just talk to yourself, and you just have to agree to yourself and try to internalize that someone's listening to this, and that's it. We'll get back to that soon, but I want to talk about this Wipeout thing because there's got to be. I got an ad for Wipeout, right? Multiple ads because they've seen that my personality has gone stale over the past 14 months. You're probably like, gone stale? That shit was like a fucking crouton. Anyways, also, isn't that nuts that croutons are just like stale bread? I'm right when I say that, right? I'm not like out of pocket here. You have to wonder how croutons were born, right? It must have been one guy. Okay, two hypotheses. The first was some guy had to make bread, and then he did the order too early and didn't want to remake all this bread. So when it was time to finally, give the client their bread, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is like a new bread. It's called a crouton. You're gonna like it, I promise." And then he just poured a bunch of like spices, or not spices, but what is it, like little garlic and like basil and shit. I don't know. The stuff on croutons that makes them better than just stale bread. Whatever that seasoning, garlic seasoning. I don't know. But some guy probably made a lot of bread and then he did it too early because he used to be an engineer or something, and he was used to, you know, pipelining everything, and he was like, "Oh, I'll get my work done early." But he's a baker now. He makes bread. He's your everyday pita, and you can't. Those aren't transferable skills. Doing a bunch of work ahead of the time. I mean, you can. You can make dough, let it rise over time. There's a time and a place to let your bread sit. He picked the wrong time, and then he tried to pass it off as croutons, and hence croutons were born. Another thing that might have happened was there was a mighty king one day, and he had his, some everyday person look after this bread. And he was like, "Make sure you look after this bread, and if it goes bad, I'm going to behead your ass. I don't mean I'm going to cut your butt cheeks off. I mean I'm going to chop your neck up and be done with that. I'm going to King Henry your ass." He's the guy that killed all his wives, right? Because they didn't produce a young boy. That's wild. What if, man, never mind. I'm not. Well, I was just gonna say, like, let's say he was in love with these women, and it's so hard, to find someone that compatible. But then this guy went and found multiple people he was compatible with. Once again, we're going forth with the assumption that he loved these women, but killing them after not producing a son doesn't really scream love. But maybe it's just archaic. Is it? Or maybe it's outdated. I don't know what archaic means, but I'm just saying maybe it's something we don't grasp today. Maybe it was just a way of the past. And I can't imagine. Oh my God, how inconvenient that is. It's like, yes, I fell in love with this woman. This is great. We get married. I impregnate her, and she produced a daughter. It sucks that I have to kill her now. What a buzzkill, man. Once again, like, had he loved these women, to just have to kill them because they didn't pop out a son. Oh, I feel bad for the guy, He has to go and find love again. It's such a shame he had to kill all those women. If only they had just produced sons, it all would have worked out. It's ultimately, I guess, if you look at it, their fault. Oh, man. They're practically like, hey, come on, you have to kill me now. Okay, we're done with that. But I was watching these Wipeout ads, and I was seeing these fools get knocked around, and I saw a couple hits that made me think, oh, I think that would murder me. I fully think that kind of impact would wipe me out and wipe me off the face of the earth. It looked real brutal. I don't know if it's gotten like worse over the years or what's up, but man. And you don't really see it as a viewer, but I can only imagine, because I'm a viewer, that's a long distance. You know those balls they jump across? I mean, any obstacle, really. The distance from the top of the obstacle to the water, that fall that they do when they wipe out, that's a fall, man. And I can only imagine someone fell on their head one time and it was a little too hard, and then that's it. They're done for. I have a hard time believing that Wipeout is just foolproof. I really think there's been some bloodshed and we just don't know about it. And anyone that would know about it has been, just keeping with the theme here, wiped out, if you know what I mean. Killed because they're witnesses. That was, I don't know if I needed to say that explicitly. So yeah, I feel like people have definitely died on Wipeout. And maybe just, maybe not even just blunt impact. Maybe just embarrassment. They practice. They really took it seriously. They practice. They train for months. Let's go extreme, years. They practice for 2 years. Only to get there. And have some, host that looks like Peyton Manning or something say, all right, give it up for this person. Let's see if they can, get through our course, or are they gonna wipe out? And then you get up there. You're like, first obstacle, easy. I trained so long for this. There's no way I don't make it at least past the first thing. And then who knows? They just didn't wipe some of the water up. You take a step off, you slip and you fall. And you're so embarrassed because you told everyone at work, your buddies at work are like, hey, we're going to go to the bar, Friday, or actually Wednesday. I don't know. Hey, it's Wednesday. We're all going to hit the bar like we always do to escape the sad reality that we all sit in this area for 8 hours, 5 days a week. Do you want to come with us? And then that person for 2 years was saying, oh no, I gotta practice. And they're like, all right. Hey, just remember, we'll be watching and we believe in you. And with all this practice, there's no way you mess this up. And then you go up there. 2 years. You didn't even go to your kid's birthday. You didn't go to your kid's graduation. You let your dog die because you didn't feed it, all because you were practicing for this, and then you get out there and you slip. And you wipe out. And you die purely from embarrassment. Because you know you're going to have to go into work. You're going to have to go see your kid. You're going to go look at your dog's corpse. And you're going to be like, I slipped. So then, yeah, your body just shuts down. A lot of different ways to die on Wipeout. So I find it unimaginable that no one has perished from the show. 2 years ago, December 19th, 2019, I made this video. Now, I posted that video at, 11 a.m. or something? It's not important. But right after I posted that video, my friend Andrew Hoyer, as I've mentioned before on this podcast, I used before too many times, but I've mentioned him in the past on this podcast. He came over, and he, my mom, and my sister, and I had gone to see a movie titled Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Or maybe it's just Rise of Skywalker. Who knows? And honestly, who cares? Because the people that made the movie don't care. Oh, I'm just kidding. It was a fine movie. I don't care enough to hate on a movie. I don't know why people hate things. It's so pointless to hate things. But I guess then that makes up your personality, or else you're going to become a host of Wipeout. Anyways, we go to this movie, and the movie's long. I know it's going to be long, because for some reason, movies are now just getting longer and longer, it feels like. Like the episode 8, The Last Jedi, the Star Wars one. I think it's like 2.5 hours long. If I remember correctly, 2 hours and 32 minutes. And it's just, I hate to admit this, but I can't last that long. What are they doing? It's, you know what? Movies have an inverse relationship with music. Music has gotten shorter and shorter over the years, whereas movies have just gotten longer and longer. Like, I remember music used to be like fucking 4 to 5 minute long songs. Back in my day, it used to be so goddamn long. You could pee, have a problem, taking a piss, fix the problem. I don't know what this problem is, and I'm not speaking from experience. But you could go to the bathroom, pee, have a problem peeing, fix it, resolve this, and come back to the song, and it would have been like you never left. Old songs used to do this thing where the song would play, and then it would reach this natural point where it would just kind of like, there was a point where you realized, oh, if this song ended right here, that makes complete sense. And then it would repeat itself. And you're like, what's going on here, man? What do you, it's like when you're talking to a friend and they're already going for too long, talking, and they reach the end of the sentence or the story, and you're like, oh, thank God. And then they keep going. Once again, this is someone with a podcast making fun of these people, so I have no room to say this. But songs used to be so long, and now you can use an entire song as a fucking ringtone. It's like songs, I have a song that's like 50 seconds. But like, I found most of the songs I like today are anywhere from like 2 minutes to like 2 minutes 20 seconds. Real short compared to like old songs. Like the one that always sticks out in my head is Sweet Home Alabama, because when I was younger we had Guitar Hero, the famous video game, and I would like to indulge in the singing role, but only for one song, Sweet Home Alabama. And that shit was a goddamn workout, man. You sang for 5 minutes straight, and it's just the same shit. Sweet Home Alabama. And then, the guitar go, and then it's just like, I would scream that shit to the point where mom, I remember there were a couple times, and I'm saying it was deserved. It was not undeserved. It was very much deserved. She was like, shut up. Don't even, if you're going to play that song, don't. And I would like to say, I do not fault her at all. She was 100% justified. That was some bullshit. That kid, I want to punch him. That kid was an asshole, man. Not even an asshole. That's the worst part. There was never ill intent. It was just fucking annoying. It was just like, it sucks. You wish the kid was evil, so that when you accidentally trip him, you feel good. But the kid was just a dummy. Me in the past, he was just stupid. He wasn't mean. He was just stupid. And so you can't do anything bad to him because then you feel bad. You just wish the kid was a little evil. Like, I wish, I could catch that kid, like maybe shooting a squirrel with a BB gun. Then, when I punch him in the face, it'll be justified. But songs, used to be so long, now they're short. And now movies, I don't know how long movies used to be, but all the movies I was watching over the past few months were anywhere from like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, like tops. And now, these things are pushing like 3 hours. And I'm like, God damn. That is 3 hours. That's 1/8 of a day. That's 12.5% of an entire day. And it's even more because, a normal person, should sleep for 8 hours a day. So that movie could easily, then when you go to a movie, you got to eat a meal after, obviously, to regain all the strength that you lost from sitting in a comfy recliner for 3 hours. And then you got to talk to people and then all form a hive mind opinion on the movie. So, that's easily right there. 4 to 4.5 hours of your day. Plus, let's put in commuting. You've now, because of this movie, used 5 hours of your day. Which, if you slept for 8 hours, let's just go 9 for math. That is 33% of your day. And that's if you're entirely efficient. So, on December 24th, 2019, we went and saw Rise of Skywalker. And I have this strategy. I've heard if you pee at certain intervals, your body will get in that rhythm and it'll try to mimic that going forward. So I tried to get these 4 to 5 hour increments so that I could make it through the movie. It was foolproof. I'd worked on it for a couple weeks. Everything looked fine. I didn't see any way that this plan could fail. Except there was a point in the movie where Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting, and there's crashing waves and they're surrounded by water. It's the crashed Death Star. The Death Star's remains. And I didn't realize it at the time, but maybe, being reflective now, maybe it's all the water that did this to me, but in this fight scene, it hit me. I got a knock at my front door. And it was nature. Nature was calling. I had to pee so bad at that instant. I don't know what it was. I think it was the water. It must have been the water. It was that moment I realized, oh God, I don't know how long we are into this movie, but I don't I don't think we're at the halfway point. And so, yesterday I rewatched Rise of Skywalker, and on Disney Plus, you can see where you are in the movie. And apparently that water scene where I had the beginning thoughts to go pee was when the movie had an hour and 3 minutes left. Now, about 10 of those minutes are credits. I give you that. But that means for 53 minutes, I held that shit. No, I held that piss. Literally. It. I told the party I was with after I had waddled to the bathroom after that flick that was probably the most pain my bladder has ever caused me. That was. It's points like that that you start thinking, what permanent damage am I doing to my insides right now? Like, it's the most pain I've ever been in from my bladder. And I finally realized, I got some closure yesterday from rewatching the movie, that I made it 53 minutes. And when I say 53 minutes, I mean that water scene when they're fighting, that wasn't when, you like feel your phone buzzing in your pocket. No, no. My ringer was all the way on. I had Sweet Home Alabama as my ringtone. That shit was loud and clear that, hey, Gauruv, you need to piss right now. So for 53 minutes, I was at high intensity. I was doing weird shit. I was like trying to achieve Zen halfway through. Like I was trying to become a Jedi myself, mind over matter. Holy shit. I was like doing these breathing exercises. I was trying not to move too fast. I remember my hand was a certain way and it wasn't comfortable, but I was like, if I move my hand, the whole thing will collapse. So I remember, I think my hand like went numb because it was in a weird spot. And so I mustered my way through. I remember so they have recliners, right? I think now can pinpoint it to 30 minutes into my 50 minutes of waterboarding my insides. I, you know, moved the recliner down. That was a terrible recliner noise. I'm really sorry. But I like declined the recliner. Is that the proper way to say that? I lowered the recliner, and the recliner was flaccid and no longer erect. And in my head, I was like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna pee. But it was that thing the whole time I was watching the movie. There was no good point to get up and leave. There was always something happening. Which credit to the movie, 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I think it was 3 hours. Sorry, 2 hours and like 23 minutes. I think that movie is. To pack it all that time with action, I gotta give you props. But also, I was fully ready to sue Disney for like a bladder infection. It was terrifying. I legitimately forgot what happened in the last 20 minutes of that movie. I watched it yesterday, like it was for the first time. I didn't know how the movie ended. I mean, I did, but I didn't really get how we got there. Like there was a point where there were horses on the screen, and that's all I remember. And then yesterday I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And so, what, 2 years? No. A year and 4 months? 16 months later? I finally got closure. And I don't have a bladder infection. So things are looking up. Let's see what Gauruv wrote down this week to see if he wants to talk about. Oh, this. The thing about talking to myself, I realized something that in 2021, I don't know if this is the case for you all, but at least in 2021, I'm not going to say the entire pandemic, but 2021 for sure, I haven't really talked to people. Like, I have meetings for work every 2 weeks. Um, and so I talk to the same 10 to 12 people. But besides that, yeah, I haven't talked to like another human being. Um, I mean, I talk to my mom every day, but besides family and besides bi-weekly work, I don't talk to other humans. And it made me realize, oh, you know what? I hear my own voice more than I hear any other voice in the world now. Because I try to edit every day, and I do this podcast once a week, and that's 45 minutes of just me. And I listen to it back to edit it, insert the pictures and everything. And, I'm in Davis alone in my apartment, and, you just think to yourself, talk to yourself. So, with being alone in an apartment, editing myself and watching myself so much, and just not talking to other humans has made me realize, oh, my voice is the one I hear the most in the entire world. And when I had that realization, I thought, well, was it different before? And yeah, it was. Because every day, excuse me, you would go out and you would talk to other people. And when I talk to other people, I usually like to just let them do most of the talking. But the thing I've realized now is I have way too much, like I'm too okay talking so much. Like I have talked to a couple people in the past few months, and with each interaction, I'm like, God damn, what am I? I'm just dominating the shit out of this. Like, I just can't get enough of my own voice, can I? I don't know what it is. And then I thought, oh, it's probably because this is just what I'm used to, just hearing this shit. So, is that a problem? I don't know, but it's an observation I've made, and I wonder. No, because you guys are sociable, normal human beings, right? You probably talk to people, but I don't. And I don't know, has it affected? I think that's why I think I started thinking about this. I feel like it's affected me mentally, You get too inside your head. I don't know then what the implications of that are, but I've noticed it. I think I'm still figuring it out. I'll keep you updated. But I thought it was so interesting that in my entire life, usually it's other people doing most of the talking. And this is the first time in my 22 years here that for 3.5 months, my voice is the one I've been hearing the most. And probably AJR, because they had a new album and I've been listening to it a little bit. But besides that, and Aries. Oh, love Aries. He's great. But I'm so sick of my voice. I don't even see when I started YouTube, making YouTube videos. When I started YouTube, when I created the website, I had this vision in mind. And when I started making YouTube videos, that was a big hurdle to get over because I find that a majority of people relate to this, but I don't like listening to my own voice. Now I'm okay with it. I don't prefer it, but I'm okay with it. And so getting to the point where now it's the voice I hear the most is weird to think about because it's a point I never thought I would have gotten to. But it's a circumstance of our times, I suppose. So the world's not normal, and what I've observed isn't normal too. And I guess that makes sense. I don't know if I had more to that, but I found that to be true. I I also, I guess along the same vein, I was watching one of my videos earlier this week. I was watching my coloring video because, I mean, I had watched it all the way through, but after a week, I was like, oh, let's, I guess, watch it again. I don't know. Was it going to change or what? It wasn't going to change. I decided to watch it again for some reason. And I don't know why, but halfway through watching it, it like hit me. I think it's something I said. Maybe it was a comment I read, but no, it was like something I said that made me realize, oh shit. Wait, real people watch my videos. And this is something I've had trouble grasping my entire time I've made videos. But I realized, oh, there's just people watching me. And like my voice is coming out of their phone or their computer or TV or whatever. And they're just consuming me talking. I think what made this even weirder is knowing that I talk to myself so much in these past 3.5 months, but because of the internet, it means I'm actually talking to so many people, but I'm not talking with a lot of people. And so realizing that there are so many people I'm talking to, but the only person I really talk with is myself, was really weird to me. It like shook the system a little bit in that moment that I realized, oh, this is another human being that's like sitting behind a screen and watching me do this thing. And for that, I'm thankful and also like slightly weirded out in a good way. I feel like if you're weirded out, it's not always a bad way. It usually is because of the connotation of the word weird, but sometimes I feel like you can get weirded out in a good way. Like candy bars. If a candy bar is like a mutant, like you get a Snickers bar, but it's like two Snickers that are like morphed into each other, that's weird as shit. But it's pleasant because now you got double the Snickers. So, see, weird isn't always bad. That's that's a great tagline for your dating profile right there. So, yeah, it's just that. See, that's the thing. I was like, oh, I want to try to be more funny on these podcasts, and then I go right back to the um, like getting lost in the things I've been thinking about. But that's what happens when you're the only person you talk to for months. I think it's made me stronger at being able to talk about nothing for a long time. You know, the podcast and just hearing my own voice. But goddamn, I feel like I got to reel it back with other people, you know? And here, the worst part is, it's probably not even a problem. But because I've just been getting too much of myself, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Um, I know exactly what I'm thinking. I don't know how to say it. You know what I'm saying? Which, no, you don't. Well, no, you don't. You get what I'm saying. I don't know if you get what I'm thinking. Does that make sense? Okay. I I don't really know who David Lynch is. Like, I get he is this gentleman, right? I don't really know what he does. I think he's a movie maker. I don't know. He does art. I don't know. Um, but David Lynch has, from what I've seen, like interviews with him and stuff, he doesn't explain the meaning behind his work. It's like he's famously does that. He famously doesn't explain stuff, is what he does. And over the past few months, there's some things I've done on my YouTube channel that some people have asked me about. Not with their voice, because once again, I haven't talked with anyone, but I get DMs and people ask the meaning behind stuff. And I talked about it in this episode of the podcast right here. Why do I make the content I make? It's the same kind of conversation as that episode's, but this wanting to find a meaning behind everything. David Lynch talked, not explaining things, for some reason felt relatable. And then a comment on that video I watched made me able to articulate it a little better in that, like art, I'm not saying my videos are art, but art is like an expression of a feeling. Like it's not like a one for one, like this happened and this means this, or this means that. When the feeling you get when you consume a piece of art, whether it's audio, visual, whatever, it could be tastes too, culinary art. While it's not describable, it's a feeling you get. And so I realize like the reason I do stuff, I guess doesn't always have a meaning. Um, it's just because it feels right. Like it's something I want to do because I feel like doing it. And through the David Lynch stuff I've watched, just the interviews and things, I've realized when people try to get the meaning out of them, it like ruins it in a way. And it made me realize that you don't always have to explain everything you do. Someone commits a crime. Why'd you do it? It's like, it was just a feeling, I wanted to express myself. No, obviously there are some things where a meaning is very important to know and have. You can't just do shit to do shit. But actually, that's exactly what I'm arguing. I think sometimes you can just do shit to do shit. It doesn't always have to have a, concrete reason behind it. I think it's just about like how you feel when you do it. There's weird stuff behind that, I feel like. Like there's probably a whole weird conversation about fetishes that you can get into that I don't want to get into. So yeah. I don't get why does everyone want a meaning behind everything? The point I written down on my phone is trying to find/define the meaning of something takes away some of its meaning. And I find that that's true. That when you do eventually end up defining something, it takes away some of its meaning. Because when you don't define it, it can mean so many different things. But when you remove that, all those possibilities and say this means this, then all the other things you thought it meant are just wrong. It makes them void. And so that's why once again, my videos are not art. But like, if you make something, it's just, I make videos. That's like the thing I make. I don't think you should always try to give them meaning. Which is weird to say because I am working on a video right now and I thought it was going to come out like before this podcast was going to come out. It's not. I got lazy. It'll come out Friday. Okay. In 4 days from when this is posted. But that video, I feel like people will try to put meaning behind it. It's nothing. It's just for fun. I don't know. And then I recorded 2 more videos. So I have 3 videos recorded, and this one that I've been working on, this one I'm talking about that will be out Friday, I recorded it in December. I recorded 2 videos, the Reddit video and the video I'm working on that will be out this week. And it's also like things have transpired since 4 months ago that makes this like, it's changed the meaning of it. Once again, I don't think there should be a meaning attached to it. I think it's just for fun, but it's tough But the two videos after that, I feel like there are things I say. So, sorry, to recap, I have 3 videos recorded. One will come out this Friday. And then the next 2, I think, will be the week after. Definitely one will be the week after. I think both will come out the week after. We'll see how busy I get. But I have 3 videos recorded right now. And the back 2, I finally, in that middle one, the second video, I finally, a couple podcasts ago, you might remember that I said, I don't want to exactly explain something right now, but I have a story that's 2 to 3 minutes that I made up that will talk about what I'm trying to talk about. And I finally tell that story in that video. And this video is like 5 months late. Like it was an idea I had 5 months ago that I finally got to. And the way the video ends, I think there's a very clear point to how the video ends, but everything around those last 4 minutes of the video, I feel like some people are going to put too much meaning behind and then get the wrong point of it. And I feel like going to get people that will ask me to try to explain certain things, and I'm not going to. I don't want to. There's a very clear point, and you will get it. But then there are other things that have points too that are more ambiguous, and that maybe is where questions will come from. And I don't want to define anything because I think it will make it lose its meaning. So, I don't know. This is why I should talk to other human beings, because that's the other thing. When you are just talking to yourself, you lose a lot of perspective of the world, and things don't matter as much as you think they do when you hear other people's triumphs and struggles, I've found. Nothing makes me feel better than hearing someone struggling, because then it sucks to hear they're struggling, but it puts it into perspective for me that all of the problems I think I have are non-problems. And so it's very therapeutic when I hear other people having problems. That sounds weird, like gross and evil, but I still empathize. But in a selfish way, it does make me feel better. Because it puts into perspective that my shit is not shit, you know? Like, at least I could go and watch a 2.5-hour movie, you know? So who cares that I almost got a bladder infection? At least I could go watch a dope movie. Anyways, I think we're nearing the end of this podcast. It was one that I didn't think would... I mean, every single podcast I've made, it really, except for maybe a few, rarely go where I think they'll go. And the thing is, I don't know where they're going to go. Like, I don't know the place we're getting to. Well, last podcast I said, I know the destinations will hit, but the journey is what is up in the air. And so I don't think there's ever a final destination with these podcasts. Oh, that's really funny. Final destination. There's never like a place we're trying to get to. There are just pit stops. And the journey's always fucking weird. I've found. It's rarely what I think it'll be like. Like, I brought chains because I thought there'd be snow on the roads, and turns out we're in the middle of a desert. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Thank you so much for the support on my channel recently. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It's still crazy that people listen to it, and the podcast is actually doing quite well. And I've actually, if you notice, just stopped like advertising it completely, like even just posting it on my Instagram. I don't know. I feel weird because it's just me talking about nothing. for 45 minutes once a week. So it's, I guess I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I am. I don't know. But thank you for listening to it. And look out for that new video. And I'll see you next week. Okay? Bye.